Have you ever wondered how India, once one of the world's wealthiest nations, became a developing country? For centuries, India was a global economic powerhouse, renowned for its textiles, spices, and incredible wealth. But in the 18th century, something changed dramatically. The arrival of the British East India Company, and later, direct British rule, marked the beginning of a systematic economic plunder that would last for nearly 200 years. This wasn't just a change in leadership. It was a deliberate dismantling of India's economy for Britain's benefit. Before the British arrived, India's share of the world economy was a staggering 23%. By the time they left in 1947, it had plummeted to just 4%. So, what happened? One of the biggest factors was the destruction of India's world-famous textile industry. Indian fabrics were in high demand globally, but Britain wanted its own mills in Manchester to thrive. They imposed heavy tariffs on Indian textiles, making them expensive and uncompetitive, while flooding the Indian market with cheap machine-made British cloth. Millions of Indian weavers, spinners, and artisans lost their livelihoods, pushing entire communities into poverty. This wasn't just competition. It was a planned destruction of a thriving industry. This economic exploitation was what historians call the Great Drain of Wealth. Essentially, Britain siphoned off India's riches without providing anything of equivalent value in return. Taxes collected from Indians were used to pay for British administration, fund British wars, and buy Indian goods that were then exported to Britain. It is estimated that trillions of dollars in today's money were drained from India over the course of colonial rule. This immense transfer of wealth financed Britain's industrial revolution, while simultaneously deindustrializing and impoverishing India. The very foundation of Britain's prosperity was built upon the ruins of India's economy. The human cost of this exploitation was devastating, and nowhere is this more evident than in the Bengal Famine of 1943. While World War II raged on, millions of people in Bengal starved to death. This wasn't a famine caused by a natural lack of food. There was food available. The problem was that the British administration, led by Winston Churchill, prioritized supplying the war effort over feeding its own colonial subjects. Food grains were diverted from Bengal, and pleas for aid were repeatedly ignored. It was a man-made tragedy, a horrifying example of colonial indifference, where millions of lives were seen as expendable. This wasn't the only famine. Under British rule, India experienced recurrent, catastrophic famines that killed tens of millions, often exacerbated by policies that prioritized cash crops for export, like cotton and opium, over food for local people. Beyond the economic ruin and famine, there was the brutality of colonial rule. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre in Amritsar in 1919 stands as a chilling reminder of this. Thousands of unarmed men, women. On the orders of Brigadier General Dyer, British troops blocked the only exit and opened fire without warning, continuing to shoot until their ammunition ran low. Hundreds were killed and thousands were injured in a matter of minutes. This cold-blooded act was meant to terrorize the Indian population and crush the growing independence movement. Instead, it galvanized the nation, becoming a turning point in the struggle for freedom and exposing the horrific violence that underpinned British control. The legacy of these 200 years is complex. While defenders of the empire might point to railways or legal systems, we cannot ignore the deep economic and social scars left behind. The systematic destruction of industries, the drain of wealth, the horrific famines, and the brutal massacres are not just footnotes in history. They are the reasons why a once prosperous land had to start from scratch upon gaining independence. Understanding this painful history is crucial, not to harbor resentment, but to truly appreciate the resilience of a nation that has been rebuilding itself from the ashes. Thank you for watching. If you found this history insightful, please like this video and subscribe for more stories that are often left untold.